Today's program is brought to you by OTCStockShark.com. For the latest and greatest OTC and Pink Sheets information, sign up for your account at OTCStockShark.com. Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.
In financial news, typically an awful month for stocks, September has so far brought almost nothing but up days. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 145 points, or 1.4%, to close at 10,753, its highest level since May. Already this month, the Blue Chip Stock Index has gained 7.4%, on track for its best September performance since 1939. It has risen in 11 of 13 trading days this month. The Nasdaq Composite jumped 40 points, or 1.7%, to 2,355. The technology-heavy index has gained more than 11% this month. The S&P 500 index climbed 17 points, or 1.5%, to 1,142. Both indexes are also at their highest levels since May. The September rally has been fueled partly by cash-rich companies pelting shareholders with money in mergers, dividends, and share buybacks, notably in the technology sector. In U.S. news, China told the United States not to interfere in a regional dispute over claims to the South China Sea, saying it would only complicate the matter. Japan's TV reported that the United States and Southeast Asian countries may announce a joint statement that obliquely presses China over its recent activities near disputed isles in the South China Sea. China has been increasingly strident in asserting its territorial claims. In the past week, it has suspended high-level exchanges with Japan and promised tougher countermeasures after a court there extended the detention of the captain of a Chinese boat which collided with two Japanese Coast Guard ships near disputed islands. Washington has criticized Chinese claims to swaths of the South China Sea, where Taiwan and several ASEAN members, including Vietnam, Malaysia, and the Philippines, also assert sovereignty. China says it has sovereignty over the seas, home to valuable fishing grounds and largely unexploited oil and natural gas fields. While there have been no military clashes in the seas for years, China has been building up their military presence in the region. In international news, the Indian members of parliament left their shoes on the floor beneath a wall covered in photographs of slain Kashmiris. The five men sat cross-legged on the floor of the headquarters of the Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front, staring into a group of television cameras as they delivered a carefully scripted message of reconciliation. For more than 100 days, in which Indian security officers have killed more than 100 Kashmiri civilians, the Indian government has seemed paralyzed or even indifferent, as this disputed Himalayan region has plunged into one of the gravest crises of its tortured history. Unable to quiet the unrest or even fully understand it, Indian leaders this week sent the equivalent of a peace delegation to Kashmir. Members visited a hospital and met with politicians, business leaders, and even separatists before returning to New Delhi to confer with the Prime Minister.
Nothing is sexier than a strong, toned body. And nothing builds great bodies better than a genuine Bowflex home gym. Because only Bowflex home gyms have Power Rod technology, the secret to getting a strong, sculpted body fast.
I was absolutely seeing results almost immediately.
I love the results that I've seen.
It's probably the best home gym workout I've ever seen.
Call for a free DVD that shows how to get the results you want faster than you ever thought possible.
You can't diet your way to a body like this, but in just 20 minutes, 3 times a week, you can be a stronger, sexier you.
Have one delivered for $0 down and pay as little as $10 a month. Call now for a free DVD that shares the Power Rod secret of building a strong, fit body.
I think women with muscles are beautiful.
Those are Bowflex guns, that's right.
To get a Bowflex body, get a genuine Bowflex Power Rod home gym. Get started. Call now.
In entertainment news, there were no strobe lights, no outlandish costumes, and only a mediocre sound system. But Lady Gaga and the crowd jumped up and down, snapping photos as a whirl of platinum blonde hair emerged from an SUV and walked up a concrete ramp into a tiny stage. Lady Gaga, the pop music sensation, made an impassioned speech to the crowd of college students, parents with small children, teenagers, and service members, calling for the repeal of the military's Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. A military authorization bill being considered by the Senate this week would repeal the 17-year-old policy which allows gay and bisexual people to serve as long as they do not disclose their orientation or engage in homosexual acts. Supporters of the repeal are not sure they have the 60 votes necessary to overcome a Republican filibuster. Maine has become the last-minute battleground for them because it has two Republican senators, Susan Caline and Olympia Snowe, and they are publicly undecided on the issue. In tech news, some geeks glue together model Death Stars. Ho-Jun Sung built a fully functioning satellite. Dubbed God, it's set to become the first ComSat designed and financed by a private citizen to reach orbit. The tiny masterpiece of do-it-yourself engineering. Sung hijacked together a solar cell, a lithium-ion battery, and an Arduino board modded to withstand cosmic rays, and 4 LED lights powerful enough to be seen back on Earth. To talk to God, he uses a jerry-rigged communication device. It's all part of what Song calls the OSSI, the Open Source Satellite Initiative. Song explains that he wanted to lower the space program's barrier to entry. To make your own satellite, you can download a PDF of instruction, which features Song's charming hand-drawn illustrations as well as tech specs. But if your heart is set on seeing your handiwork fly across the sky, you'll have to start saving up. Song will fork out $100,000 to commercial rocket company Nova Nano to launch his super cheap creation into orbit. In green news, Jim Witkin at the New York Times thinks that pod cars might make sense. He writes about the pod car's upcoming use at Heathrow Airport in London. Pod cars are becoming increasingly popular because of the reduced carbon pollution and lower operating costs compared with traditional bus service, widespread use at airports, shopping malls, and tourist attractions. Many airports offer automated people movers, driverless train cars linked together that move passengers between parking lots and terminals, stopping at every station on a constant loop. By contrast, pod cars move only on demand, offering point-to-point service with no fixed schedule. Either a car is waiting for you when you step up to the platform, or you can summon one from the control panel at each station. There are some interesting points in there. It is true that in most airports that use automated trains, they are running all the time. The airport operator expects it to cost 40% less than a bus service. The 21-car system will cover 2.4 miles and carry about 1,000 people a day, which sounds low and is considered by commenters to be an error. Ultra, the company making the Heathrow pods, claims that they are the most environmentally friendly form of transit ever invented. It uses approximately 1,000 BTUs per passenger mile, which makes it 50% more efficient than buses or trains, and 70% more efficient than private cars. In health news, are you worried about high fructose corn syrup in your diet? If the answer is yes, you're not alone. Today, about 55% of Americans list the infamous corn sweetener among their food safety worries, right behind mad cow disease and mercury in seafood. As a result, food makers are reworking decades-old recipes, eliminating the corn syrup used to sweeten foods like ketchup and crackers, and replacing it with beet or cane sugar. To counter the backlash, the Corn Refiners Association suggested changing the name of the ingredient to corn sugar, hoping a new name would help rebuild the product's image. But most nutrition scientists say the consumer anxiety about the sweetener is misdirected. Only about half of the added sugar in the American diet comes from corn sources. All added sugars, including those from sugar cane and beets, are a cause for concern. Today, sugar calories now account for 16% of the calories Americans consume, a 50% increase from the 1970s. High sugar consumption has been linked to obesity and other health concerns.
Thank you for tuning in to TBC Today. I'm Brandon Vincent.
And I'm Angelina Soriano.